sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Hey guys, it's Nick. 93.7 The Ticket is excited to be broadcasting this weekend from Stillwater, Oklahoma, as the Big Ten champion Nebraska baseball team appears in their first regional since 2021. From Friday through Monday, Austin and I will have pregame shows, postgame reactions, interviews, and other thoughts from Stillwater as the Huskers begin their road to Omaha. Regional coverage is presented by Mullen Motors, Sandhills Global, and Blur Events. It's NCAA baseball tournament coverage live from Stillwater, Oklahoma, this Friday through Monday on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Do you want to try something different on your smoker? Now through June 2nd, enjoy fresh, all-natural pork belly for $2.99 per pound. Great for burn ends or making your own bacon. Also, USDA Choice Pecana for $9.99 per pound. And if you're looking to stretch your pennies, all-natural fresh chicken drumsticks for just 88 cents per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Play ball!
Summertime is here, and so is another action-packed baseball season with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Bring your whole crew to Haymarket Park to experience the magic under the lights and the thrill of the game. Enjoy daily specials like Wiener Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, and Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts. Don't miss out on the excitement.
Strike three, you're out!
Visit saltdogs.com to see this week's promotions and secure your tickets to unleash the fun.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. If you've experienced a sports injury, joint, or back pain, trust your care to Nebraska Orthopedic Center, a proud platinum partner of the Cornhusker State Games.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We got Rob Coleman in, the host of the show, and he's got two guests in here. So, Rob, do you want to introduce your guests?
We got Rob back.
Rob and Rob Show.
Rob and Rob Show again. Johnny's here. And then, of course, Benny Fresh.
Benny Fresh.
With the intro. That's just what I called you today. I hope you liked it.
Benny Fresh.
I've never been called that. That's a new one.
You're welcome.
That's a new one.
New name for the show. So, yeah, we are excited to be back. We're going to be talking a little bit about resistance training today, the benefits of it, and also training for youth. So if you guys have kiddos who want to start training, we got some tips, some tricks, some strategies, everything that we want to go over today hopefully helps you out. So but first of all, obviously, before we jump right in, we should talk about each other's weekends. I was going to, because I got myself a good old-fashioned move today, and these two guys are actually going to help me out, so thank you in advance.
You're the muscles. Doing the heavy lifting.
They are the muscles doing the heavy lifting, so I appreciate
shout out
that.
to the Ticket for raising money on Give the Lincoln Day, too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I got my experts in here. So we're going to be talking about resistance training, benefits of it. For example, increasing resting metabolic rate by increasing muscle mass. I did talk about that a little bit actually last week, and I missed you, so we can actually talk about that a little bit more.
So what did you cover?
So
Go ahead.
we focused on increasing your calorie burn post exercise,
Mhm.
and we talked
EPOC.
about EPOC, yes.
Mhm.
So for anybody who doesn't know, excessive post exercise oxygen consumption, and it's one of the best ways to burn body fat, at least from the exercise side of burning body fat, is just creating that residual calorie burn afterwards, or the afterburn is what I put in quotes. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about benefits and describe, when you say increasing metabolic rate, how would you describe that to people who don't know what that means?
Well, your body has to burn basically a certain amount of calories to keep itself alive, right?
Yes.
And so muscle is just metabolically more expensive.
Right.
So do you want to?
No, I mean that's essentially what we went over a little bit. Is the more muscle you have, I mean, muscles burn calories at rest.
Right.
So
Yes, to stay alive.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to have more muscle is a great way to burn more calories.
Mhm.
And it's probably means your need goes up too. But the nice thing, if you want to not have to starve yourself, it's actually kind of nice to have to
Right.
need more calories.
Absolutely. That's kind of
So,
fun. You could eat more.
Yeah.
You get more energy expenditure, rest. It's
Yeah.
it's all good.
Now there's a lot to say about diet and how important that is for weight loss. And I don't know how these percentages ever came up. Whereas it's 90% diet, it's 75%, like whatever that is. But I mean, when you really think about it, if you want to make it as simple as possible, and we're talking just calories in, calories out, there's a ton of diets out there. There's a ton of things that you can talk about in terms of weight loss. But
Mhm.
the simplest, to bring it down to the very smallest factor, I guess, would be just calories in, calories out. And if you're talking about how to be able to take more calories in, the more that you are required to burn, actually it helps with that. So it's just if you require 3,000 calories to stay alive versus if you include like BMR plus TDEE, or if you only need, for example, 2,000 to keep numbers simple, you can
Mhm.
eat a lot more calories, the person who requires more. So
Right.
it's easier to not starve yourself. And I just think that makes the dieting factor easier also, as if you focus on the exercise factor.
Mhm.
And whoever wants to, yeah.
Have you guys had clients who specifically wanted to add muscle?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not as
So-
frequent though.
Right.
Today I actually
Okay.
had one, but it's more frequent to ask for muscle loss, which usually means
Or weight loss.
Weight
yeah,
loss.
thank
Weight
you.
loss,
Not-
not
yeah.
muscle loss. Right.
I apologize for the misspeak there, but yes, weight loss. So body fat loss, which does mean I'm actually going to increase their
So-
muscle.
For both of you guys, since you guys are actively training,
Yes.
clients, what's the percentage of weight loss versus strictly muscle gain? Would you say
70%,
70% weight
because
loss?
it's just a lot of calorie deficiency,
Mhm.
So that's what I
Right.
well, like to build muscle and slim and shape up, right? That's what they want.
It used to be a lot more actually.
More that wanted to build muscle.
More that wanted to lose body fat.
Yes.
But we know we're in the Haymarket now, and we have a lot of people who want to lose body fat, but I never hear just body fat. I shouldn't say never. I
Oh,
often hear just body fat, but it's far
Right.
more frequent that people say both
Mhm.
nowadays. And
Well, and I think
Yeah.
the access to information about health and wellness, people are becoming more informed nowadays,
Yes.
for sure.
yes, for
Would you
sure.
say that's the case?
100%.
Mhm.
People can just Google me to make sure I'm not, giving them
Not
crap.
full of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I always like to say Google has single-handedly cut into my ability to bull crap,
Yeah.
Well,
for
sure.
lack of a better term there. So, yeah,
You might get fact checked.
right.
Yeah.
But no, I don't lie. Just
He
because
never
Google-
lies.
No, I don't
Right.
do it.
For
Thank
the
you, Ben.
record. For the record.
For the record.
I won't do it. Yeah, no. It's just you got to be, on your game a little bit more. You got information's out there.
100%. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of good information out on the internet, but there's a lot of bad information too. And that's
be
where
careful.
professional expertise comes in for sure.
Definitely. You got to be careful who to listen to, who to not listen to. I mean,
Yeah.
I was reading an article just last week talking about how a pound of muscle is going to help you burn 50 calories. It was
Mhm.
50 calories
Mm-hmm.
for just 1 pound,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean,
50 calories per day.
it
Or-
was yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
I mean, it was, oh gosh, it was a week ago. So it was per day.
Mhm.
And it's high. That's a big number. So
That's a big number.
the point is like you got to like, all right, then cross reference that with like I went to a doctor website, right? And I was like, okay, so like what's the actual number? And they said it's somewhere in between 6 and 10 calories, which, and it's like,
Sounds more realistic.
it is more, it's certainly the correct answer. And then you look and like, all right, so what is the myth? And the amount of doctors and the amount of other articles is like, no, 50 calories is a risk. So just don't pay attention to the first thing that you read,
right?
Because if you Google how many calories am I going to burn a day with just 1 more pound of muscle on me,
Yes.
it's something that you got to be careful of. So that's just one example, but it popped up literally last week.
And you know, when you go on the internet and you look at an article, it is their job to get clicks, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So they're gonna put the most catchy part of a headline or a study on top.
Yes.
May not be fully accurate. So
Yeah,
being
and-
able to go through and vet that, or having a professional
Right.
that, you know, hey, cross references like, Doc, I read this. Is this true? Well, let's look at it. Let's dive into it. I think that's important for the consumer, for
100%.
sure.
We had a text on the text line from Josh saying, "What's the gym that you work?"
Yeah,
at?" So
we're
if you
over.
wanna intro
Yeah,
that.
thank you. So we're at Movement Academy. So it's actually in the Haymarket. If you know the Olson Building, right next to Huddle, it's on Canopy Street. So it's really easy to get to, and we do got a little mini parking lot in the back there. If you don't live or work in the Haymarket and you need to drive, we do got space over there. But it's
Great gym,
yeah.
great views.
Yeah, it's Haymarket. It's really good. It's a lot of fun to hang out over there. But we do focus on mainly personal training, group personal training. However, we do offer general gym memberships, and people can pop on in there on monthly and just do your workout. We got plenty of space for you. So certainly give us a click or two on the internet, since we're talking about the internet right now. Check out the website.
Oh, yes. Oh,
you
yeah.
can Google Movement Academy or just go to moveacad.com. So it's a fun little site. You'll be able to click on an intro and just get on in here, and you should see my picture up there if you want to learn a little bit more about me also. So it's a lot of fun. And actually that's how I met Rob right here. Other Rob.
That's right.
At
And
the
I
gym.
came down because of this guy over
Yeah.
here, who I've known for what, 10 years now?
10 years,
Yeah, give or
yes.
take, maybe a little more.
So
So
yeah,
moved back to Lincoln. Johnny said, hey, come down, check out Movement Academy. Checked it out.
it's the fun zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Come on
been
through.
there ever since.
So yeah, anyways, the one more thing I wanted to bring up about that article though is there is also they snuck in some actual good information while they were at it. So they'll give you, like you said, the click, but then there's also some information in there that was pretty valuable.
Okay.
So
So what was that?
Well, they would actually talk about when we're talking about like body fat loss,
Mhm.
it was, I mean, they were true when it came to the muscle being there is helpful for body fat loss. They
Mhm.
just exaggerated how helpful, right?
Sure,
But
sure.
they weren't 100% wrong in the sense that yes, the more muscle you have on your body, the
Mhm.
easier it is to burn more calories at rest. Like
So-
that's true.
What was the website?
Oh goodness,
I think that's important. Was it like a Men's Health, or was
no,
it like
it
a
was
PubMed?
It was like a random article that I
Random
found.
article.
So who
Okay,
knows the website?
gotcha.
It's just, but
Sure.
it was certainly not something that when you click it, it didn't look super polished, right? But
Did they reference research?
there was some references, but
links.
but
Okay,
there was
good.
but some of
good.
it, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So there was some references there.
I feel like that's the case with a lot of stuff online. It's like, well, it's partly true. You know,
Right.
it's like they're not. It's like, you know, if everything they
Right.
said there wasn't true, they'd be like, oh, well,
Yeah.
obviously, it's like some of it's true, but it's like how much are
That's-
they
yeah.
exaggerating?
Information gets cherry picked quite often. So you do have to be careful about that.
Yes, it does.
Really dive in and understand, okay, where are they getting this information from? If they list, research at the bottom of the article, click on it, give the abstract a glance over. Sometimes those could be super science heavy. So again, if you have someone you can bounce stuff off of, that's good. But
Yeah, talk to your trainer,
important
talk to your
to
doctor.
know where you're getting your information from.
Yes, yes.
You can lose 30 pounds in 5 days. What are you talking about?
Hey, there it is. Yeah, see,
On the Johnny 5K program.
clickbait. And one more thing, we're still on increase like benefits of resistance exercise. We kind of went off a little bit on that, which is actually a lot of fun to
Yeah.
talk about some random websites. But the in terms of like, we want to talk injury prevention. We want to talk reducing risks of falls in the elderly, management of type 2 diabetes and prevention of type 2 diabetes, all these types of things that we're going to dig into a little bit, but also improved bone density, which really affects all that stuff. So I had an interesting fun fact on bone density. I don't know if you call this a fun fact, but it's so osteoblast training, right? So strength and conditioning for joint and bone health, right? So it was if you look at a baseball pitcher and you do a scan of their pitching arm versus we just talked about baseball last week. So that if you do an actual scan of their arm, like let's say they're a right-handed pitcher, the actual density and the obvious muscle density versus their left arm, when you look at those x-rays, it's unbelievable.
In bone as well too, since we're going to talk bone density.
The bone specifically, right? Like the bone is bigger. It's a bigger bone.
Yeah,
so,
if you look at the sternoclavicular joint, so where the clavicle collarbone meets the sternum, you can actually see increased bone density in that specific joint in the throwing arm of baseball athletes.
Yeah. So then
I've seen it clinically many times.
Right. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what is causing that? I mean, it's obviously because he throws on that arm all the time, but it's the sheer velocity and power that he's creating all the time. So like the difference between, say, just doing a standard bench press versus a clean or a snatch. The cleans and snatches, the high intensity power exercises are certainly what's going to increase your bone density more. Right. Yep. So there's an actual, it's funny. It was in 2010 when I lived in Orlando. I was with a guy who was teaching this trade school that I went to for personal training. It was the National Personal Training Institute. And he actually went through the NSCA, which is the National Strength and Conditioning Association, one of the big ones in terms of
premier organization.
Yes, premier organization for certifiers. So they actually accredited this certification called osteoblast therapy.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So that's something in 2010 that I actually was certified for.
Okay.
And it was actually for bone density and joint health, joint stability, right? So what's fun about that is that's how I learned about the whole baseball throwing arm. They showed me like x-rays, right? And all these things. They taught me how to read a T-score, like all these weird things, you know? So it was the ossification process, like that's your, so actually, do you want to describe the ossification process, or like I can give the brief one, but if you have any.
Yeah. So essentially this process is Wolff's Law. Okay.
Yeah.
So bone is going to adapt to the stress that's put on it. So where the muscle and specifically the tendon of the muscle attaches to a bone, as you apply force through resistance training, that muscle tendon is pulling on the bone, and it is going to stimulate undifferentiated cells in the bone to turn into bone cells, osteoblasts.
Yep.
So that's sort of the quick and easy process of how that happens.
Right, and that was the design of this program. So
was for that specifically.
Yeah. So like before the ossification process ends, or when as we age, our bones they increase in density at a quicker pace than say when you're in your 50s, right? So it's really important to hit that target market and increase it as much as possible, as early as possible. Right. So that's really what's gonna help you out a lot.
And what's super important, I think, is to supplement that kind of training or that methodology with diet stuff as well too when it comes to increasing bone density. So osteoporosis is something that's pretty common in the elderly population.
Yes.
And we talk about calcium all the time. I think a lot of people probably get plenty of calcium. It's fortified in a lot of food that we eat. But you do need magnesium and vitamin K as well too. So those are two interesting things that if you're struggling with osteoporosis, don't forget about magnesium. Don't forget about vitamin K, because you can consume all that calcium, but if you want it to actually make it into the bone and to make that tissue more dense as bone, you need those other cofactors as well too to make that calcium get into the bone. So just quick side note there.
And we know how much you love your magnesium.
Yeah, and how can you get more of that? I know you talked about that on a different show, but
yes, how can you get more magnesium? So
for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes, take it all day long. No, honestly, unfortunately, modern agriculture, modern diet, it makes it very difficult to obtain enough magnesium to be effective clinically just through diet. So honestly, supplementing it is going to be the best way. So, if you're looking at a magnesium supplement, there's tons of different kinds. We covered that in that first week of the show as well too. Magnesium glycinate's my favorite one. If I had to pick one of those, just because it's highly bioavailable, your body can absorb it in the small intestine very well. It helps you go to sleep. It's good for nerve health, good for muscle, all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, all the fun stuff, all the things you need.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's about, as far as like reduce risk for falls in the elderly.
That's a huge, if you have an elderly population,
Yeah.
Falls, broken hips, those increase mortality considerably. So,
Oh yeah,
if you're doing resistance training, that makes you less prone to falls,
Right.
And it makes you a little bit more robust. If you do have a fall, your body's going to be more prepared for that.
Right.
So,
and talk about
the
power. I
yeah.
mean, so like with and I apologize.
No.
So I mean, when I actually have some clients who would consider more elderly, and they just got done with physical therapy. Right now, they're working with me, and I've been actually doing plyometrics with them. Now, when people
That's
say
awesome.
plyometrics,
Yes.
I love that.
yeah. When people say plyometrics, really what they usually think, they just jump right to like box jumps, right?
Right.
But really that's not exactly what a plyo is. It's just it's a quick transfer between the concentric and the eccentric muscle phases, and what you're trying to do, and you can do that in any case, right? So for example, I have one of my clients actually stand in a split stance, right? So they're sturdy and stable. Like imagine if you were to like stand up straight with your feet together, and somebody kind of like pushes on your shoulders a little bit, and then you take a step backwards.
Yeah.
How far back do you step? And that's basically their stance. And I'm actually going to have them jump between both of their feet, right? So they're going to jump forwards and back
Nice.
on
Okay.
their actual, which is an example of a plyometric. Now it's a very lightweight plyometric, right?
Sure.
But that's for them, that's impressive. Like and holding a ball against the wall, even with a physio ball, having them throw it and catch it,
Mm-hmm.
that's a plyo.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's really important
Stretch
for them to do
shortening
that.
cycle
Yes.
happening there. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
And that's a really good point, I think, as well, when it comes to resistance training, is knowing where you're at, right?
Yes.
You got to start where a person's at. Whether you're a
100%.
personal trainer, you're going in trying to figure it out on your own. You go too gung-ho out of the gate, you might run into some issues doing that. So progressive overload and strategic planning is important. And again, falling back on the expertise of a professional,
Yeah.
I cannot recommend that enough, for especially someone just starting out.
Well, we better throw it to break. Just
Yep.
wanted to give a quick plug to the show sponsor, Coleman Construction, where they build your dreams through custom home building. Learn more at colemanconstruction.com or call 402-643-5654 today. And as always, if you ever have any questions or comments, you can text them to the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685, or leave a comment on any of our streams, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or our channel 961. But with that, we're going to throw it to break. We'll be right back on the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coleman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Coleman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Coleman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Do you want to try something different on your smoker? Now through June 2nd, enjoy fresh, all-natural pork belly for $2.99 per pound. Great for burn ends or making your own bacon. Also, USDA Choice Pecana for $9.99 per pound. And if you're looking to stretch your pennies, all-natural fresh chicken drumsticks for just 88 cents per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln Families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through June 4th is buy 2 New York strips, get 1 sirloin for free. Also, $1.50 off gelato pints and scoops of gelato for just 50 cents. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Early break with Sip and Jake.
That's a bad look for Mike Malone. When did the F-bombs just become an accepted part of our world where coaches just go to podiums and drop F-bombs? When did that start happening?
I think it was right after COVID. After COVID.
The COVID.
COVID-19.
Ruined our profanity, our properness in press conferences. Took everything away.
It really was. We got that documented.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You guys were just touching on, what were you touching on? Resistance training?
Yes, resistance training and its benefits. So yeah, and don't forget, if you ever want to do some resistance training and enjoy its benefits, pop on over to Movement Academy. That's my segue.
Let's go.
So pop on over to Movement Academy.
Good plug.
Thank you. Yes, it's over there in the Haymarket. Just pop on over right there on Canopy Street. We got a good view of the farmers market today, actually. So we got them windows right in front. We get to see everybody walking by. It's good people watching. A lot of nice people.
You like people watching?
Yeah.
Don't we all?
It's fun. So yeah, but go check us out. Definitely, we'd love to see you over there. And we also, so we were just talking about, we were finishing up a conversation on injury prevention, especially as you get older. And then we're going to talk about training for youth here in just a second also, because I know we got a couple of fun little facts to talk about there. But as far as just to put a pin on this last conversation we were having, is reducing the risk of falls in the elderly. That was big time. We didn't really get to management of type 2 diabetes and also the prevention of diabetes, which obviously we should probably bring that up as well, because I have to answer another question about what types of clients I get a lot. I do hear often, Rob, I just want to stave off the potential of diabetes. So that actually is very common in terms of personal training and what people are trying to achieve.
Well, and if you if you have a client that's, struggling with weight, the likelihood of them, potentially having pre-diabetes or diabetes is going to be elevated, right? So muscle tissue, its preferred source of fuel, glucose. Okay. So if you're having trouble with insulin resistance, which is the hallmark of diabetes, when you do resistance training, it actually increases the expression of a specific cell called a GLUT4 transporter. And what that does is that it brings sugar into the cell. So instead of having elevated blood sugar and diabetes, it's going to make your muscle more sensitive to sugar. It's going to be able to absorb it and use it as fuel and improve your status in terms of diabetes.
Right. Yep. So, and then the management of it, of course. I mean, that just speaks to the management portion.
Yeah, I think that makes management of diabetes easier, whether you're doing pharmacological interventions. If you add in resistance training, it's going to make everything just more effective. But if you're in that pre-diabetes category, it's going to help stave it off. It's going to help you, keep from getting to that point. So resistance training, super important when it comes to, metabolic syndrome and diabetes.
Yeah.
I have another text on the text line saying, this comment from Big B saying, I lift at a private strength gym here in town. We have multiple older women who lift deadlifts, squats, shoulder presses, and bench. They had their bone density tested and they were +2, having been low in the normal range from a previous test.
That's great.
Resistance training is for all ages. Is something you shouldn't be afraid of. Lifestyle plays a huge part of that as well. Don't be sedentary, stay active.
That's a great
Big
text.
B.
Great text.
Who was that?
His name Big B is
Big
what we
B.
have on the
Big
contact.
B.
Yeah, you know what
Big
you're
B.
talking about.
Big B, that
You watch
is a
it.
great text, man.
Yes.
That is awesome.
So-
Love that. He's absolutely 100% spot on.
Yeah, definitely true. And then one more thing, I mean, to kind of put a bow on this is, can you guys name a single thing in life that doesn't get better if you have more muscle, if you're resistance training?
Yeah.
Everything
Absolutely.
in your life is better. I don't care what the topic is. I don't care if you're talking about sleep. I don't care if you're talking about how you feel, how you look. Name a random task that you do throughout the day. I promise you, it is better if you have more muscle.
100%.
It is. There's injury prevention, living longer. I can't think of a single thing on this world that is not made better with more muscle. So, and just with more health in general, and just working out. So that's if that doesn't talk you into it, then
and people come to me every day with musculoskeletal injuries, and we do what we do to help them get back into the gym. And that's the goal a lot of times. And that's a big part of it, is introducing rehab. How do you get stronger? Because that's going to keep you from coming back in with that, specific injury again. It's going to help it, just stave off future things from coming back. So it's extremely important.
Speaking about benefits, how about we talk about starting early, training for youth?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Boom, another segue. All right, so training for youth. All right. What is a very common misconception about training the youngins?
I think the most common one that you hear all the time
My
is
kid's too young, or
too young stunts growth, right?
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. So, I don't remember where that fallacy came from, but a lot of times you have some shoddy research study that people misinterpret the outcomes of. Now, this has been, studied over and over again over the course of time, and that's absolutely not the case. Lifting weights does not stunt growth for your children. It's one of the best things you could introduce to them. And if you can do that at a young age and make it a habit, and you have to do it in a way that's enjoyable as well, too. If you make training just like, if it's not fun, if it's just some rigid, like, okay, you're training them like you're training an adult, personal training client, they're gonna be like, this sucks, and it's like, you want it to become a lifelong pursuit. So making training fun, we've trained youth athletes.
Yes.
You got your own little kiddo that you like to train.
Oh yes, you gotta keep it fun. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of resistance training for sure, especially being at a young age. That's the main thing I do. You know, we're not gonna put
absolutely.
a bunch of weight on the bar and let these kids lift. You know,
No, you got to teach them fundamentals. You got to do things
Mm-hmm.
in a safe way, just like you would with any other client, any other population. But you know, you got to gamify things for the kids. And we trained, you know, typically when we were training kids, they started
Yeah.
at like what, 5th grade, maybe
Yes.
4th grade, you know, somewhere around there. We started actually getting kids in a formalized training program. This is when we were over at Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
We've trained hundreds of kids, and might even be up in the thousands.
yeah, the,
you know,
the
if
kids
I
would be
really
chasing me,
think
but you
about
have,
it.
to, you have to run sideways. You know, but they'd be chasing me.
Yeah, you're gamifying
Yeah.
things, right? It's not like, oh, okay, you got to just do this, do this, do this.
I
No,
like the
it's
word gamify here.
Yeah, gamify
It's,
is
it's
huge,
that's
right?
that's the word of the day.
100%.
Well,
yeah.
Rob's a true gamer. So.
Hey, there it is.
That's right.
We can talk about e-games.
But if you think about sports, you know, it's like it's real-time problem solving. That's what it is. It's reacting to randomness, right? So
Yep.
you can easily take that, gamify it, and put it into a structured training program and make it really fun for a kid and make them enjoy it and improve their, you know, athleticism,
Yeah.
flexibility, their health status, and, you know, maybe instill some long-term, like, you know, behavioral patterns.
And you
that,
see
hey,
the
I'm
way
gonna
the
do this
kids
for the rest of my
maintain
life.
that focus
Oh,
for
yeah,
a duration of time that you know.
You get kids moving for an hour and they don't even know that
Yeah.
that hour
You know,
went by,
it's-
you know, so fast. They're just like, oh,
I used
that
to-
was one of the most fun things.
Oh yeah, and I used to coach gymnastics, and if there was ever a time where I felt like their attention was waning, and we had to like do something, like, all right, kids, here's what I want you to do. You were
Mhm.
going to run as fast as you can, and I want you to slam yourselves into that mat over there as hard as you can,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
come back. And if you have boys and they have something to hit, especially if it's just themselves onto a mat,
Oh, it'll wake them
they'll do
up.
it. They'll come right back, and they're all tired. I was like, oh, you good? It's like, oh yeah, and they start talking, like, do it one more time, and then they run, then like,
Mm-hmm.
we'll make them run through a pit, like, but like. You might not have access to mats and pits, you know,
Yeah.
at all times.
So okay,
but-
so parents are gonna ask,
Yeah.
how young should they? You know, is my kid too young? So what are you guys' answers for? Is my kid too young to train?
Yeah, like I said, we usually started kids like, I would say the earliest was like 4th grade, because you do need some, you know, they got to be able to focus a little bit, right?
Yep.
It's not necessarily because of a physical thing. It was more
So
of
not like a body development or
yeah,
nothing?
it was
Okay.
more like, you know, we're training in a group session with other kids. You do have to have some kind of like, you know, dynamic where people can stay cohesive, stay on track.
It probably depends on kid to kid. I mean,
It depends
if,
kid to
like
kid as
some
well,
kid,
too.
one kid might
Yeah.
be ready to go at 4th grade, and one might have to wait till like 6th.
100%. Yeah. And then you're doing your best within a session, you know, to kind of meet kids where they're at as well,
Yeah.
too. But you're starting basic, you're having fun. It's like, it's pretty easy to get a kid, you know, worked into that type of training session. It doesn't need to look like the training you would do with a professional athlete. I've trained professional athletes, I've trained youth athletes, you know, starting at 10 years old, and it looks nothing the same. And I don't think it should either.
No.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something like that, I don't know. You might want to just rethink that. So good point for sure, Johnny.
There's a difference too between, you know, when you get kids into athletics versus into just strength training, right?
Right.
With like me, for example, I did grow up a gymnast, right? I'm in gymnastics at 4 years old.
Yes.
You know, I mean, if
Yep.
you want to be a good athlete, you know, the earlier the better.
Sure.
But we're talking athletics, right? Now there's a function of strength training and athletics, of course, is being active, right? And especially in gymnastics, of course, there's, you know, I was doing push-ups and sit-ups before any kid in my class, you know, in high school or my elementary school class, right?
Yeah.
But so there is a time and a place for it if you are, like, say, pre-4th grade, but like it was being done for a specific thing,
Yes,
right? But I promise you, if you look at gymnasts in college right now, they didn't start in 4th grade, they started at
5
3 or
years old.
4 years old,
Sure. Yeah.
they were early.
Yeah.
If you don't start them off early, then they're already behind if
Yeah.
you're at that level.
Organized sports
Yeah.
and, you know, an actual like performance training setting probably goes, you know, it's a little bit different, I would say.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into this soon, but as far as training your kids, how often should you train your kids?
I think that depends greatly on what are they doing, what other activities are they doing. And you know, if you look at a lot of the most successful professional athletes, they played multiple sports.
Yes.
I think that's more rare these days. You get kids that are maybe focusing on one sport. Maybe they have a secondary sport they don't take quite as seriously, but you know, they have that one sport that maybe they're playing year round. If you want to make a more robust athlete, that's where I think, you know, performance training for kids is really important, right?
Mhm.
If they're focusing on soccer year round, it's really important that they get some variability in their movement to make them more robust against injuries, but also to make them a better athlete. And I think that's really important, where performance training comes in.
That's one question I want to ask is like, see, that is a lot more common playing at same sport year round. And I wanted to ask that, with injury, you're working the same muscle the entire time, like say volleyball, like you're doing the same, if you practice, every day, you're doing the same movements every day. Can that put a big strain on your muscle? I wanted to ask that.
100%. In orthopedic injuries in adolescence is definitely going up in the last decade, maybe longer, as kids are starting to focus more on one sport year round. So that's an important consideration. If you're a parent, you need to look out for that for your kids. You don't want your kid getting injured at an early age. That's something that they could be dealing with long term, moving forward. So I think, getting him in a really good training program, that's good for your kid.
Yes.
Having them play multiple sports is also a really good option for that as well, too.
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence that we are talking about sports at the same time as talking about resistance training. Usually with kids, it's probably for a purpose. It's for a purpose of sport. Now, which is, it's a point where we differentiate, because you had mentioned differentiating between adults and kids. Like, well, the reason those programs look different is usually when you're training adults, you're not training them to be better football player, better soccer player, you're training them to be more healthy, right? So the training is going to change. Talk about gamifying exercise and for kids. I mean, you gamify it pretty sports specific sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's almost every time. And
we would gamify it even for the professional athletes that we train, because it improves reaction time. It actually gets a lot out of people when you do that. So that's really fun. I think an important aspect of not making things so rigid, making sure you're having fun, no matter what level you're at when it comes to resistance training, working out in general.
So if there is like someone that's like, they're super into, I'm just going to keep on volleyball. Like, what is something they could do? Like, they want to play volleyball year round. What's something they can do to help prevent those kind of injuries?
I think if you can get yourself into, a program that's performance training based, right? And is going to be well-rounded, where they're looking out for, specific movement patterns and giving you variability in movement and training you in a way that's going to make you more robust. If you can find programs like that to get your kids into, I think that's the first line of defense against those orthopedic injuries. Second thing would be, if there's a sport that you can realistically work in, a second sport, that's going to help as well too. But if that's not an option, the gym, the weight room, performance training setting is going to be the most important thing, because that's what we focused on, when we were doing that back in the day over at Speedway. It's like we had a lot of kids that were one sport athletes. So my entire mindset when developing that program was, how do we make these kids more robust and resistant to injury? Because, me as a healthcare provider, I know that adolescent orthopedic injuries are on the rise because of focus on single sport.
This goes back very, very clearly to injury prevention in terms of benefits of resistance training, even for kids. And it's the reason to not, the misconception that people have, the reason to not is, I don't want my kid to get injured, when it's doing the opposite. It's helping them not get injured, actually. And you just got to be controlled. You can exercise in a way that's going to injure you. Sure. I mean, you can you can walk down the sidewalk and injure yourself.
100%.
You can walk wrong. Yeah. But the thing is, and it doesn't matter the sport, runners,
but the likelihood of getting injured, in the weight room versus in a sport, it's two different worlds.
Way different.
Injuries in the weight room just don't happen unless you're being, careless and, doing things the wrong way.
If you have a personal trainer, that won't happen.
If you have a personal trainer,
and where can you have a personal trainer?
If you have a
Movement
a professional that you can rely on.
Yes. Speaking of Movement Academy, we also, and runners and injury prevention, because we did have Ann on a couple weeks ago from the running company. We were talking about injury prevention there as well. We always go back to injury prevention with runners, because a lot of times I get runners who just only want to run. That's the only form of exercise, and they think that's enough, and that's going to help prevent injury. But the ones who are actually doing resistance training on top of that, we actually created a class called Strength Training for Runners, right? And that is something that I recommend every runner go and try and do.
It's very similar concept to the one sport athlete. Runners, endurance athletes, you're going to be more robust, more resilient against injury if you're adding in resistance training. 100%.
Yeah, because if you're running is good for you, but if you do it too much, can't that put a big strain on, knees, hips, legs? I mean, everything.
It's a contact sport. Every single time you take a step onto that pavement, how much of your body weight is jolting up all your joints? Like 2 to 5 times your body weight every single step. How many steps do you think you take on a run?
Yeah. Another thing I want to add. So I know, I just know this from example, my mom having knee problems, told not to run as much on pavement. Is that kind of something that is it, I don't want to say it's bad to be running on pavement, but is it better against injury? And if you're running a lot, to not always run on pavement, like a track or grass or anything.
Yeah. I don't know what the exact research on that is, or if there's even any studies out there, but
I just compare it to proper shoes.
100%. Yeah. I would say if you're running on crushed limestone, like Ian talked about the Jamaica Trail when she was in here, it's like crushed limestone. It's amazing to run on. It's super soft. I like that quite a bit. Or a track. I think orthopedically it's going to be a lot less, demand on your body, a lot less impact as well too. So I think that's a good thing.
The reason the other reason you're going to hear the grass, right? And the reason I bring up shoes is imagine running barefoot and imagine running with the pad of those shoes, right? So there's a difference running with a same concept, pavement to grass, right? It's more padded. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
obviously,
that's just that's my assumption. I don't know what the research is on that or if that, but that just in my own head, that makes a lot of sense, right? So who knows if that's the real reason? Don't take me on that one.
That's not your area of expertise.
That's the clickbait.
Did you just start us down a barefoot training rabbit hole? We're gonna have to save that for another show.
No, I'm saying
there's a whole nother controversial topic right there.
That is.
I'm actually not a fan of
shoes
that.
being bad for you.
Yeah.
I'm actually not a fan of that.
Barefoot training?
No. I don't believe it.
Running or training or what?
Running.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But then you see these ultra marathoners that are running barefoot ultra marathons 100 miles.
In school,
those are called aliens. They're not real.
In school,
those are outliers.
I had to read this book in school where it was this entire book was about this guy who was trained for marathon, saying the science behind shoes being bad for your foot.
Yeah.
And how it doesn't allow your foot to form the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I have no expertise on any of it for that. But I am never going to go running barefoot.
I'm a fan of technology.
Like anything in health and wellness, nuance, is required. You got to look at individual situations and,
But I'm sure there's some science to that, but there's a lot of science to a padded landing spot helping you as well.
Sure.
So.
Especially if you're pounding out the miles.
Yeah.
It's probably another one of those things where there's probably some things right about both arguments,
100%,
but it's just
absolutely.
what do you want to take?
Yep.
But with that, we got to throw it to break. What do you want to talk about next segment, Rob?
Oh my gosh, Johnny brought up esports.
Yeah, well, let's take it a little bit away from this. Let's have some fun in the last segment.
Yeah,
I like it.
You're listening to the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back.
Coleman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions, and remodels for your dream home. Coleman Construction listens to your ideas and works with you to develop a floor plan, budget, and project management approach. Contact Coleman Construction at 402-643-5654 to discuss your vision for a beautiful home and let them bring it to life.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Hamann Jewelry, here to drop some knowledge bombs on how to wow your woman. Size matters, but not the way you're thinking, guys. Make sure you know her ring size before you even think about popping the question. If you aren't a surprise kind of guy, ask her. I bet she knows her size. If you are a surprise kind of guy, bring in a piece and we can get close to the right size. We will make it perfect for her when the time is right. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Hamann Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Kingdom Sports Minute with Ron Brown. Three-time NBA champion AC Green of the Los Angeles Lakers had a well-known disciplined lifestyle both on and off the court. He set the NBA record for the most consecutive games played and earned the nickname Iron Man in the process. But Green also became known for his chaste lifestyle out of his conviction to follow Jesus, rejecting the debauchery that was especially pervasive throughout the 1980s. Not only did he abstain from alcohol and drugs, he's also known for being sexually pure throughout his entire 16-year career and remaining a virgin until he was married at 39 years old. Green's teammates and opponents often teased him and even tried to tempt and talk him out of such strong stance. But they began to see the inner core of AC Green, filled with Christ, strong and unashamed. Many of these athletes eventually expressed admiration and respected Green for his self-control.
Visit kingdomsports.online.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through June 4th is buy 2 New York strips, get 1 sirloin for free. Also, $1.50 off gelato pints and scoops of gelato for just 50 cents. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Del and Ed present A Kernel of Truth.
That's Ed's new drone. Why do a couple of Nebraska corn farmers need a drone? 2 words: multispectral imaging. Drones help us farm more efficiently and protect planet Earth. Yep, Ed's a pretty good pilot. When he doesn't hit the broadside of a barn, that is. Nebraska corn. It's the plant that can change the planet.
Visit nebraskacorn.gov to learn more.
Oh, Ghost of George Washington here. Being the face of the dollar bill used to mean something, but today I just don't get any respect. But that's all changed with Lotto America from the Nebraska Lottery. People know that Lotto America only costs $1 to play, has a $2 million starting jackpot, and drawings 3 nights a week. I'm back, baby!
Calm down, George.
Hey, nobody asked you, Ghost of Andrew Jackson.
Lotto America top prize odds, 1 in 26 million.
Hey guys, it's Nick. 93.7 The Ticket is excited to be broadcasting this weekend from Stillwater, Oklahoma, as the Big Ten champion Nebraska baseball team appears in their first regional since 2021. From Friday through Monday, Austin and I will have pregame shows, postgame reactions, interviews, and other thoughts from Stillwater as the Huskers begin their road to Omaha. Regional coverage is presented by Mullen Motors, Sandhills Global, and Blur Events. It's NCAA baseball tournament coverage live from Stillwater, Oklahoma, this Friday through Monday on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the last segment of the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I want to give one last plug to the show sponsor, Coleman Construction, where they build your dreams through custom home building. Learn more at colemanconstruction.com or call 402-643-5654 today. We got one last segment, only like 5 minutes left.
Let's do
That
it.
hour-
We want a fun.
that hour goes so fast.
It
Yeah, it
does.
does.
It does. We want to end on a fun topic. So, Rob, what do you got for us?
Well, I mean, speaking of plugs, right?
Plug.
This is the Movement Hour.
Yes, Movement
Talking
Academy.
about Movement Academy.
You're
All
really
right.
good at that now.
Thank you. One thing we don't do at Movement Academy is play video games, but we are
Ooh.
going to talk about those real quick
But they're
because
fun.
I just pulled up. So we were talking about esports a little bit, and I just pulled up this statistic: the popular esports game in 2024 by viewership. So if nobody knew that this is actually happening, it was 2,829,000 people. 2,829,000 people are watching League of Legends right now.
Really?
What's League of Legends?
Good question. It's a
video
PC
game.
game
On Twitch or
no? Who knows? It's just the total viewers
platforms.
here.
I
There's
bet
a,
it's probably just total viewers across
There is-
everything.
all platforms.
you want to know how much money is in this? There is a prize pool of $7,436,000 for a game called Counter Strike.
Counter-Strike.
I love my nerds. I love my nerds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy
People
a
watch
PlayStation.
Esport, it's very interesting because esports is losing money,
For
but
sure.
How?
there's
Yeah.
viewership. It's the way. This is the thing. It's like the controversy right now is, so if I'm a professional gamer, you're probably going to start in esports. That's how you get popular. But then you make more money just streaming.
Yeah.
You can just stream.
Oh,
You
yeah, yeah.
viewers,
don't,
man,
you
I-
don't, you
That's
don't have
right.
to put in.
Yeah.
You don't have to put in as many hours. You could do what you want to do, and it's. I mean, somebody would probably rather stream and have their own audience than playing for an esports team. So it's just like that's the problem esports is having right now is that all the big names are not.
They're
sticking
leaving
with-
esports.
They're leaving esports, but there's viewership in esports.
They got to figure out contracts there.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they don't get paid as much. You can make
Right.
so much more money as a streamer than
Huh.
going and competing in esports because
Yeah.
there is money in esports. I mean, people will watch it, but it's just
Right.
like the money doesn't come back to the gamers as
gamers.
much.
Well, that's a
That's
bummer.
the problem.
Well, that's they're playing games. That's their payment.
So
right?
it's like esports isn't losing money, but
Yeah.
there's a problem there.
Yeah.
There's something that's got to change, and it's just because it's so new.
Right.
Like,
Well,
I
I
think that's the
mean,
problem.
I can't believe this many people watch video games.
I mean,
I'm-
it is.
crazy to
It's
me.
so
That's
so
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah,
There, you have the most popular streamers that they on an average day pull in 60,000 viewers every single day.
Wow.
They're pulling 60,000 viewers. Just that one streamer on Twitch. will
If you
pull in
guys ever
60,000.
watch, if you guys ever watch Free Guy, one of the super awesome movie by the way.
Yeah.
where,
Ryan
like,
Reynolds?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think
funny.
I've seen that.
Yeah, but all the streamers on there, and they bring up all these real life streamers, right?
Mhm.
And they're having them on this show, and it's amazing. Like, there are like 5 million, 6, 10 million views of these, be like at a time. It's like,
Well, I mean,
'cause
that's
it's
like probably
live.
over the whole time. They probably didn't have that many, the entire time.
At once. I don't know. He was a popular character.
I don't know.
That's-
I just like for streamers,
Maybe
it's like
not, yeah.
the constant live viewership is like
Well, yeah.
60,000, but they had however
Oh,
many
right,
different
yeah.
views
At
and
one
clips.
time, like over the course of a show,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. So no, that makes
So
sense. But
it's
it's amazing to
So
see.
on that list, are there any sports games?
I'm looking. All right, down the line.
I'm gonna
here.
guess
Madden,
no.
FIFA. No,
I'm gonna guess no.
Really?
I'm
Interesting.
seeing
People.
League of Legends.
It wouldn't be
they
Madden.
wouldn't.
If anything, it'd be probably NBA.
2K.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming it'd be 2K.
Yeah, for sure. Because
or
all those players play.
Yeah.
All the athletes. all
2K,
the, yeah.
and then FIFA's very popular.
FIFA is number 14 on this
FIFA's-
list.
that's
That's
what
the
I'm
top
saying.
so
sports
fun.
game.
FIFA. Madden's not as popular as
It's
people
not
think
popular
it is.
anymore?
For
Well, I mean, it's-
people play it, but like streaming,
Nah.
there's not as much.
You guys, we already
can do
talked
there.
about this. Soccer, most important sport in the world.
I mean,
Gaming, gaming
it
is a worldwide
is.
thing.
And that's
so
why FIFA. That's why it is.
Rob's laughing because I talk soccer all
I'm
the time.
rolling
And
my
But I
eyes
mean,
over
it's
here.
true. That's why
It
it
is
is the
true.
most
Yes.
popular sports video game.
Stats are the stats, man. I can't help it. It's
I mean,
the most popular sport in the world, regardless of how much you love it.
Gaming is so much. Video gaming is so much more popular in like that you get
Yeah.
Korea,
Yeah.
China. I mean, all
Sure.
that in Asia. I mean, it's even bigger there.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' favorite? Let's go favorite sports video game of all time.
FIFA,
Oh,
FIFA.
easy.
Okay.
2K for sure.
2K?
Because I get out with all my boys.
I might change my answer this
you
summer
know?
when NCAA comes out. Though.
I would say
Oh, that's right.
this
I-
summer
I would say
NCAA
2K
comes
as well.
out.
2K
2K
is
is fire, huh, Ben? Ben knows. Ben knows.
It's not, but the new 2K is not as much fun.
No.
Really?
It's not. Like my favorite was like
2017.
2014 to
Oh,
like
okay.
2017, like
Yeah.
all of that. Like my first
Yeah.
2K game on the Xbox was 2K14, and that it was so much fun. There's this, I don't know. It's like they tried too hard
Sure.
to make it
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's not as fun anymore. Maybe it was just because I was younger and it took less
Sure.
to like satisfy me. I'm sure if
Yeah.
I went back and played the 2K14, it wouldn't be as much
Yeah.
fun.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
It
go.
just
I'm
doesn't
going
hit-
Tecmo Bowl.
It doesn't hit the same.
I'm gonna throw
That's
away back.
interesting.
NFL
Tecmo
Blitz
Bowl.
'97.
NFL
bro.
Blitz. Oh, that's even better
Nintendo
than
64.
Tecmo Bowl. Honestly, yeah,
Um,
man.
love that.
So
throwing it way back.
what's funny here is before we roll out, I do want to mention, because Rob here was rolling his eyes at me for the soccer thing, which it is funny. Rob, I get it. But we were talking about soccer. I don't think I ever received more text messages after I talked about soccer, how much more I loved it than baseball. The amount of people
text
who
line did not like it.
They hated me for like, I thought that I was going to lose viewers or listeners. So it was funny though.
That
because
was funny.
The more I talk about soccer, I mean, if we really
You're
wanna,
just doing it now at this point just to trigger people.
I do it all the time. I can't help it.
For
I mean,
sure.
I can't. I just love being right about best sports. So it's just like
Messi or Ronaldo. Messi or Ronaldo.
It's got to be Messi for me. But, I mean,
well, do you want to? Before we wrap up, we have like a minute. Husker baseball didn't quite win, but they play today. They play at 1.
They still got a chance.
1 against Niagara. So
all you got to do is not lose.
Yeah. It's so simple.
Come on, man.
It's so simple.
Let's just finish it up.
I mean, Will Bull said he's like, all we have to do is win 5 games.
Yeah.
Like, when you put it like that.
Hey, crazier things have happened.
So Husker boys, go get them, boys.
Let's go.
All right. Well, that was the Movement Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You know you have an in for guests next week, Rob.
We're bringing in Rob if he's available. I think
Rob
we're
and Rob
good.
show
Yeah,
again.
Rob and Rob's back. So yeah, we'll be good to roll.
Awesome.
Talk more fitness.
Awesome. Well, make sure to tune in next week, same time, 10 to 11 for the Movement Hour. Up next on 92.7 The Ticket, we got Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry. That'll be coming up next in the next hour. But till then, see ya.
Peace.
All right.
Coleman Construction is a high-end custom home builder serving the city of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Seward County, and beyond. Through their decades of design-build expertise, they are available for detailed planning and custom building, additions